Hello, Aries, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. I know we're getting through the month of March, and that's very exciting to me because that means April's right around the corner. I can feel spring. I love it. I know we've had like warmer days and then colder days. We're kind of back and forth, but I'm just getting so excited about spring and summer. So I hope you are too and enjoying the seasons. This will be your weekly reading for the week of March 22nd through the 28th. And during that time, we do have a waxing crescent moon that we bring in from last week. And that's where we've just got started on our new projects at the new moon. And so we've got heightened senses. We're buckled down. We're working and getting those things done and getting things accomplished. And all of a sudden, here comes the first quarter moon in on the 26th. And what that can mean is almost, I see it like a little mini full moon. It's that little burst of energy where you might feel impulsive, impatient. Maybe you don't want to work. You don't want to get things done. You kind of fall down on your goals and the things that you're working on a little bit just because it's hard to focus. But it's just a little gift for you to remember to focus and recenter yourself. So keep that in mind on the 26th if you're kind of feeling that impulsivity. We then move into the waxing gibbous energy for the rest of the week. And then it's kind of back to work. It's allowing for a deeper understanding and outlook and working on these things that we've started working on during the new moon, but also showing how that we can be flexible, make changes and little adjustments where we need them. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Aries. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is to take time to breathe out. Great advice. I rarely see that card. So make sure that if you are feeling that stress, we can always take that big deep breath in, but remember to sometimes you just have to exhale and relax a little bit. All right, as I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder this week is that you keep a spiritual journal. So a lot of times we kind of forget those things that we're learning in our spiritual life. And this could be things like dreams you're having or encounters, things that you're learning. It could be something you hear in a tarot reading that you might want to jot down and remember. But just keep a little journal of those things, a little spiritual journal. It's a really good tool as we're growing in our spiritual life to be able to look back on things. I know, especially dreams. I feel like dreams are so personal. Our dream language, it's just so personal to each one of us that sometimes it takes a while to decode. And if you forget those dreams, then you're not working on that. And those are important messages. So that is just my fun weekly reminder, Aries, is that you keep a spiritual journal. All right, let's get into this reading, March 22nd through the 28th. Take time to breathe out. And the first card that wants to pop out here for you, your present energy, is the Strength card. So we're being very strong through something. We're pulling on that inner and outer strength. Mostly this is about just inner strength. But it's a good energy, and it's something that we all have to pull on from time to time. Is, am I strong enough to manage whatever it is? And if that's breathing out, take that time to just breathe out and just realize things are the way they are because that's the way they are right now. And we're just managing whatever it is. Your current situation is the Six of Pentacles. So you might be, I see this card as giving and receiving. And just depending on where you are strong enough to give or you're strong enough to receive, both of which do take inner strength. So wherever you are right now, and it could be different for different areas, of course, if you are in a strong enough place to give to others, then please take time to do that. And if you are in a place where you need to receive right now, just please be strong in doing that as well, and just strong and generous on both ends of that. At the root of your situation is the King of Swords. So some sort of logic coming in, some sort of, intellect. This could be thoughts, ideas, but you're in an energy where the next logical step of something to do. And maybe that's why you're pulling on that strength. It might be, maybe you're having a little conflict with that the right thing to do. And you're wondering, am I strong enough to do the right thing? But logically, the King of Swords is about logic, intellect, and it's almost like I think of Mr. Spock when I think of the King of Swords, someone who really works in logic and just on the facts and that's how things are, and you can't really change the facts. And sometimes, some of us, the emotional part comes it does come into it, especially those of us that are a little bit more empathetic, or just working on that emotional realm, also that, that realm of feeling. And so sometimes the logical thing is not the easy thing to do, and maybe that is why you're being called on using that inner strength. In your recent past here, Aries, is, yeah, Five of Pentacles, maybe feeling a little bit like an outsider. So, and this could be, look, I feel like with this card, I imagine these two people here that are receiving, this was their position, is that they were feeling like an outsider. And of course, like I said, this could be you. You could be in the giving position or receiving, and that goes. All of us are kind of in and out of those positions, right? And it's not always monetary. I mean, sometimes we need things from the people around us, even if it's just emotional things. Sometimes it is actually pentacle things and materialistic type things. We need help financially, or we need something there. But a lot of times it's even a more subtle essence than that, even though it's just needing someone to talk to, that someone who wants to give to you. And if you are feeling a bit like an outsider coming into this, being on the receiving end of this can also continue to make you feel like an outsider. And I'm just saying, be strong through that. That if you are in the receiving position where you need someone to listen to you, or someone to be there for you, or someone there to offer you a hand or some help, just go ahead and accept it gracefully, and be strong about it, because I guarantee you there comes a time later when you're put in that position of giving and someone needs from you, and you're of course there to do it. And can you ever remember a time when you were not so happy to just give to someone? And that's why receiving, you have to understand that that does make people happy to do that, and people are there to help you. So keep that in mind this week. What is on your mind this week is the Nine of Pentacles, which is about kind of flowing in that abundance and enjoying the fruits of your labor. So, again, if you've been on the outside and now you're in this position of giving, you know exactly how it feels. And so you just, what it is to give freely. And if you are in a position to do that, take that time to breathe out, give freely, of your time, energy, money, whatever it is that someone needs of you this week. Just go ahead and do it. You know the right thing to do. And again, logically the right thing to do, and from that inner strength place what the right thing to do is for you. All right, what is just ahead of you this week is the Two of Wands. So you are looking off into the future as well. And, maybe thinking about this and putting yourself, sometimes we think about planning things and putting ourselves in a position where we can help even more. That's a great way to manifest, and a great energy for actually wanting to manifest something. When it comes to especially material things, we can all only have so much. I mean, aren't you just sometimes at a place where it's like, do I really need another thing, or more money, or what? I mean, there, that is there. And then you come to a point where it's like, no, I can live actually pretty simply. And maybe sometimes that is the point too of putting things away for a time when you can help others, right? And letting that be a motivation to do better in life as well. So I think is what I'm trying to say, and having a hard time saying it. But ahead of you is thinking about the future and what your next step is. And maybe this is kind of a changer for you. The fact that you're helping someone, it might be that you think about helping a little more permanently on some level, or maybe something that you're going to volunteer weekly on, or help to guide this person, and so that they can be in a better place themselves. In your advice position, Aries, is feeling a little like you against the world here with the Seven of Wands. So, there might be a little pushback from people around you that are like, why are you helping that person or that group? Or, and the kind of snarky comments when someone doesn't understand and doesn't have that inner strength or the wisdom to know, and it's really hard. I try not to judge people who might feel that way, that don't understand your position, instead of fighting back too hard on it, because they're just not in a place of being able to see it yet. And there may come a time when they do understand why you are doing the thing. And if you want to fight back on that, then that's fine. Put up your argument. But sometimes it's just like, yeah, shrug and walk away. If you don't have the energy for it, if you don't have the time and energy to really defend yourself and what you're doing, you need to ask yourself why you feel the need to defend yourself at all. Just be who you are, and go about your life. And instead of wasting that time defending yourself. You can be helping someone, I guess, is what I'm trying to say there. What is beyond your control, Aries, is a little bit of a feeling of dissatisfaction here with the Four of Cups. And that could be this. It could be a little frustration. I feel, again, when it comes to giving or receiving, depending on where you are, it's that frustration of just being a little unhappy that you're in the position to have to ask, or, unhappy sometimes too, where you're in the position where you have to give. Sometimes that could be a challenge as well with certain people. So make sure that if you are giving, it is for the right reasons and out of the kindness of your heart, and that you don't expect anything in return. So let's try not to be too dissatisfied with whatever that is. And it could just be that you're dissatisfied with this part of feeling like it's you against the world, like it's a ever going battle that you're trying to explain your position to people. Don't worry about it. Again, just go on with your life and be you. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Is the Four of Wands here. So another four, we've got 4 on the table. I don't think we have any other repeaters. But are you trying to avoid celebrating something, or is your secret desire to celebrate something? So this could have something to do with this giving, or a lot of times this denotes some sort of party, even a wedding or a marriage of some sort. And maybe you're trying to avoid something there. Someone will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a strange position for this card, I feel like, to be in, because usually this is your big question of the week. So are you trying to avoid the celebration of giving, or is it your secret desire to celebrate this giving? And that'll make sense to someone, I'm sure. But ask yourself that question this week. Is this something that you're trying to celebrate, or something you're trying to just keep quiet about? And that'll be a big question for you. But do look up angel number 44 and see if that has any bearing on whatever you're going through this week. And your outcome is the Judgment card. So, judgment is about coming to some truth about something, about having a new awareness. This is like a realization that comes to you. And maybe it is through this entire process. Again, if you were feeling like you were on the outside, and again, maybe you're in a position where you are asking, you need something from someone. And that's never, that can be very difficult to do. But if you're in that position, again, you need to remember the other side of it. Remember a time when you were giving. And I mean, I feel like it's such a hard thing to remember when you're in the receiving mode, is how it feels to give. And it doesn't, those two don't match up. People feel really guilty sometimes about having to ask someone for something, or ask for help, or and never is anyone who's in a giving position, usually it's done just out of the goodness of their heart, and people are very happy to do it. So I think that's my message, is really that play between giving and receiving, and that probably is going to bring on some new awareness for you. And it's like a level up. It's like you learn something with this new awareness and learning that giving and receiving, and it makes you better at both. It makes you better at giving, but it also makes you better at receiving, and kind of doing both of those in a gracious and very graceful way. So what is hidden from you, Aries, this week is the Devil card. Great place for the devil to be, is not even in your sights. So there's no real fears or insecurities this week. I mean, I feel like you're almost fighting other people rather than things that are happening inside your own head. There's maybe other people that are judging the situation, and you're maybe a little unhappy about that, but you are going to come to a place where you learn something this week with this situation. It could just be something that happens one day, but again, take time to breathe out. It just kind of let go. And if that means giving, then let go and give. If that means receiving, just breathe out and receive. All right, let's get a final word here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message here for Aries. And the card that you get today for your final message is nurture yourself first. Okay, so that's like the advice on the airplane. Is that the oxygen drops down, and you need to get your oxygen going before you help those around you, right? Make sure that you're taken care of before you're taking care of others. That could be here, this enjoying the fruits of your own labor, that when we are doing well, we can do well for others. So all right, what does Aries need to do in the way of self-care for the week? Self-care for Aries, and the card that you get is the card called calm. And doesn't that go with that breathing out? A breakdown is often followed by a breakthrough. Remain calm. So, whatever this is for you, again, the breakthrough is the new awareness that comes with the judgment. It comes through with whatever it is that you're learning at the time. So, make sure you're paying attention. This could be just a very little blip this week on your radar. I'm not even saying that this is a huge situation, but it's almost like you're given this opportunity to either give or receive. And whichever way that goes for you, because it could be different for different areas, really, the way this whole reading goes. Whatever way that goes for you, you handle it very graciously and gracefully, and it's going to bring you to this new awareness. But just remain calm, take care of yourself, be calm, take that time to breathe out. So, Aries, thank you so much for being here. I hope there was something in this reading that you can use in a positive way in your life this week. If you're comfortable sharing what's going on, or if anything resonated here, of course, drop me a message down below. Or if you have questions about this reading, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe is something that I really appreciate because it helps me out so much. So, thank you so much for being here, Aries, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.